Today we're going to talk about SolarEdge, and some people on our Discord have been pooping all over SolarEdge. I'm going to share my screen right away, and just to tell everybody, if you don't know, I'm an Enphase bull yet. Hello, yes, Enphase is the leader in this space. Okay, it's the top dog, and it's winning in terms of these little microinverters, right? And SolarEdge is their competition. So we know all of this. Hopefully, most of us. But the stock price is doing fairly well. I would say Enphase is holding up fairly well. I'm kind of
Well,
shocked
yeah,
that,
it definitely is holding up
yeah,
pretty well.
it's holding up very well. I thought it would go a little bit quicker lower, but it's sticking around this like 170, 180.
And phase was like Ethereum until about a month ago. You're
Uh,
like,
you
wow, it's
know,
just holding solid.
it is. This is not an Enphase video, but I would say people
Every
should.
video is an end phase video. What do you mean
Yeah,
it's not an end phase video?
this is
How
all of a
could you
sudden an
say
Enphase
that?
video.
All right, so market cap 26 billion. What's SolarEdge? 20?
Oh
Don't think
yeah,
about the
yeah.
same market cap.
Yeah, well, let's take a look. Right, that's actually very valid. We have a PE of around 52, the forward. We have almost no short interest and market cap of $26 billion. Okay, let's look at SolarEdge. It's $274, but the market cap is lower. It is $10 billion lower.
10 billion
Okay,
less.
and
And
the
it's
PE
40.
is lower as well. There's a reason for that because the growth is slightly lower. I think it's around 25, 30%
No
growth.
excuse. No excuse.
I'm just
I'm
pointing
taking
out
a
that
point for that.
this is why some people are so bullish over on Enphase because their growth is better, their revenue is increasing faster. But let's see if this is worth investing in because this is really a duopoly, right? These two companies are in charge of the whole solar
It's like
space.
McDonald's and Burger King.
Yes, it's basically that exactly.
McDonald's
SolarEdge is Burger King in this example.
Tesla
Call
would be Wendy's.
it. Yeah, in
Honestly.
solar, in solar.
Yeah.
This is the chart from 2016. Obviously, we're not even going to look at this when it first came out, but it's been pretty much following a channel up. And in fact, I drew this a long time ago. I drew these lines back in when we were over here in the middle of our bull run, just to see. And it still hasn't broken out of this channel. And if it holds, I just want to point out before we get into the call, we're going to do the Solar Edge call, of course. 2024 is looking pretty good for SolarEdge. If they keep growing, it's an $800 stock by this chart. I don't want to say that this is going to 100% play out in a recession, but if it holds this chart, which is a big if in this economy, this is looking pretty good.
Yeah, well, there's no reason to think that it will break out of this channel, right? I mean, a
It's
lot of these
getting
stocks have been
close
trading
right
in.
here. Look, it even touched. Remember,
But
I did not
what's
move
that
this line. I have not touched
what's
this line, by
the
the way.
what's the green line?
Oh, so this one is like the major support it's been bouncing off. This line that I drew,
That's the
230
no, the
bucks.
of the moving average, the green moving average.
Oh, this is the 200. This is the weekly, by the way. I can go to the daily just to make it. This is the daily, and where we see we are a little bit below the 200 day. I'm going to zoom in here. The green line is the 200 day. We are below all the averages at this point, so we're not exactly looking bullish for any stocks really.
But if
Uh,
you look, just go back, what is that? January 2022. It was well below all the averages, and it recovered and
yeah.
swung up above it. So it's being pulled. It's
Well,
like
it's
a
in a
rubber band
channel
right
right now, so that's why I had the weekly up because it clearly shows that we're in this channel. Let me go back to the weekly for a second. So yeah, the weekly shows like we're in this range between 227 and 370, and right now we're sitting at around $274. Uh, we have to see what happens actually because we have until I would say the last moment to find out if this doesn't hold is probably in October of 2022 this year. We'll find out if this is going to hold. And if it does hold and it starts to move up, you better believe I'm buying.
No, no, I could see why. I mean, how many times has
Yeah.
it bounced off of that?
It hasn't bounced off this only once off my
No, zoom
channel
out.
there.
I'm saying zoom out. How many times has it bounced off that
Oh,
channel?
the
Right, I'm
whole
saying for how many years?
range. Okay.
Every time it hit one,
Yeah,
two.
this is from 2016. It's been in this range. One, two, three.
Three.
Now we're at
Now we're coming
four.
up. Right, we're coming up at four.
But remember, we were in a bull market this whole time. We're not, technically not in a bull market anymore. And if it's a recession, it doesn't have to hold. It could travel sideways. So we're going to find out by October of 2022 what happens to this. That's why I'm not buying anything right now with this. I'm not actually going into SolarEdge until I find out what happens with the economy and with SolarEdge. Because if it breaks up, I think I
We're
know I
also
should
about to
buy.
find out what they say on the call. Yeah, I mean, I'm holding my cards pretty tight to my chest right now. I don't feel like I don't feel like we're at the bottom of this just yet. I just think that there's a lot more pain coming. I think we can easily see another 50% drop. And so,
Are you
yeah,
speaking about the S&P in particular? You're talking
in
about
general, yeah.
SolarEdge itself.
No, I'm just saying in general, right? In general. So I feel like there's a lot more pain coming. And I think as good as these prices seem right now, whether for SolarEdge or for another company, I think we're going to see some better prices. It's not necessarily timing the market. I'm not buying it right now. I'm not feeling it right now. Even on a DCA level, you know.
Yeah, I'm not buying SolarEdge right now, and even Enphase I'm not buying, to be clear,
Mhm.
because I feel it's kind of high for this environment, you know?
For the exactly the
Yeah.
macro matters. So
And just to share this chart once again, I know there's a lot of bullish people on Enphase, and I'm one of them. First, of all, I have a lot of shares. I never said how many, but I have a lot of shares of Enphase. And just watching this PE at 51, and there's nothing to say that it can't be halved. Like it would still be reasonable if it was at a 25 PE. It still would. Like Tesla's being cut in half in terms of stock price, and the PE is also dropping. I think Tesla's also around here, around 50 now. But my point is that there's nothing to stop these stocks from going lower if the environment is getting worse and worse. So rushing in, buying your whole stake in any of these companies right now, super dangerous, I would say.
yes, I would agree. I mean, dangerous in the sense that you can get better prices. I mean, these are still good prices, but it's not to say that we're going to return to 100p for Tesla, or 70p on a Enphase anytime soon. Like, what would get it there? You know, some of these companies are having record quarters, are still having good quarters, producing good numbers. Doesn't seem to matter when it's this fearful. Almost the fundamentals don't matter. People are just scared. So
Well,
just
what you said is actually accurate. The fundamentals don't matter now. So,
yeah,
and the P's are still high for these super great growth stocks. So, if you were to DCA into this company, that would probably be the wiser bet. But imagine going all in into Enphase at 188, and you think, yeah, that's great. In 10 years, it's going to be $1,000 a share. That's what I
yeah.
think, whatever, or more. That's great, 10 years, but you're going to have a lot of pain as it goes to like 130 for a year or two.
Yeah, and
So
it could sit there. We could be sitting in an environment like this for maybe 2 years. I just don't think that we've
I don't
seen
think
the
two
full
years. That's
effects.
pretty bearish, by the way. Saying 2 years, I guess I'm not that bearish.
I don't have enough information to say one way or the other, but I could see that happening.
It's possible. Yes.
Because it depends on like where you count this crash. We had this crash in March 2020, and you could say that was the beginning. We've already technically passed 2 years because a lot of the money that was coming in was just pumping, right? It was just pumping it up. And now that money's coming out, and it's coming out in an environment where the world is worse than it was before. And so we haven't seen the effects. We still haven't seen like the fallout of the effects of some of the issues, even with supply chains. And so I just feel like when we start getting the news of and that's going to be real. Like that's not speculation. This is going to be something tangible. I think the market's going to react to that.
Yeah, and we also don't know, like you mentioned, supply chains. If Enphase or SolarEdge miss, just like we saw Tesla, you shut down China because of this reason. Well, we don't care if we just don't
Right. We're
care.
not going to consider that it was the government that forced you to shut down.
You're
You
making
just
less
couldn't make
vehicles.
them.
Bottom
Right.
line.
Right.
That's it. Okay,
Yeah.
we're cutting you down. Okay,
Yeah.
we're cutting off your legs, and
Yeah.
the same thing can happen here. Like Enphase has been totally killing it and beating all their numbers. One quarter they miss, I bet you anything, their PE is just going to be just
Cut in
drop
half.
like a rock.
Yeah.
Even if it's not cut in half, let's say it's cut down to a 40p from a 50p forward. We're talking about the forward.
Yeah.
You're still talking about now it's a $150 stock as opposed to a $190 stock or whatever.
Yeah.
So as long as you're aware of these things, DCAing I think is totally fine. But if you're not aware of that this is happening, I think some people are getting caught in a very bad situation, like right now, that they think that this is going higher. This is gonna in 10 years. This is obviously going higher. Like I believe in 10 years, this company is like, hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But 10 years is a very painful time if you're always losing money for
Long
five of them,
time.
right? Like let's
Yeah. Yeah.
say,
Oh, it's a long time, right?
even
And
if you're
look,
gonna win in 10 years, it's still painful for five.
just
So
just just look at the calendar and ask yourself what you were doing 10 years ago today. It's going to be something drastically different
yeah,
than what you're doing now. It's a
yeah.
long.
And I would rather, just mentally, in fact, I would rather just DCA, continue to DCA into Enphase as opposed to just go all in. And this became an Enphase video, of course.
I was just gonna
Well,
say for an Enphase, for a SolarEdge, for a non-Enphase video, we're talking a lot about
well,
Enphase.
but I'm relating it to both. That both of these companies are very similar, and I'm not buying both of them right now. So just to make it clear, not buying anything, waiting for them both to come down a little bit more, and just see how the next couple of months plays out. You know?
One benefit of bear market, or not even a benefit, something that I do notice is that some people, this bear market is causing them to do research in the stocks that they own now, or even crypto for the first time. Like it was when it was high flying, they would just throw the
Yeah.
money and think that they understood it, never thinking this could get cut in half, you know. And then now they're looking at the fundamentals to see if it's worth keeping their money in. So that's like the downside of it. But in a bear market, it these fundamentals, although they don't matter necessarily to the market, it really is a good time to do the research on these companies before you buy them. Now, it really does force you to do more research and just do better due diligence on these things before you buy. And I would say that that's the purpose of a video like this, right? It's like, okay, if you were thinking about SolarEdge, we know that we might have prices like this for 6 months, and that's the purpose of a video like this. Since we think we're going to see these prices, say, for 6 months, let's do a deeper dive into the company and see what we think's going to happen in the future and when would be a good entry point, right?
Yeah, I think you brought up an important point that we have time now. So
Yeah.
I don't need to dump all my cash into
Right.
either of these stocks because back 2 years ago, you did have to put in everything at the day one. If you saw Enphase, you had to buy
Yeah.
Enphase,
Yeah.
right? It's no longer like that. We have time for this to play out. And so that's actually a good thing for people who actually still want to invest, meaning that
Yeah.
they're not done, they're not retiring. They still have 10, 20, 30 years. And look, even me and you have 10, 20, 30 years left where I know it sounds crazy, but
Ugh.
we still have time to like buy these positions over this whole year, maybe 2 years, like you're saying. I don't know, but that's not a bad thing because like we don't have infinite cash that we can keep dumping in every day. But over time, we can get some money, put it in, get some more money, put it in, and that's important for long-term investing. So we are learning how to be better investors, even if we don't want to.
Right. Well, the other part
So
of it is with inflation, it's also forcing you to, because you have to be a little smarter with where each dollar is going now.
yeah,
So it kind of you can't be doing that in your everyday life and have it not translate to your investing, right?
yeah, we're not buying BNGO anymore. Let's be clear.
Right.
Bingo.
No, no, no. We took the money and ran. No more green bean
No
stuff.
more green bean stocks. No more anything except, honestly, I'm looking at Google. I'm looking at
Solid.
Amazon. I'm looking at Nvidia. I'm looking at Enphase. I'm looking at SolarEdge. I'm trying to pick now, that to end this part of the video, I am trying to pick monopolies. I am literally saying, okay, is SolarEdge a monopoly? And I'm actually saying, yes, it is. It's a duopoly. It's not a monopoly, but it's with Enphase, they control most of this market. We're talking 80, 90%. I look at Amazon. Is Amazon a monopoly? Yes, I had 20 packages come today of little trinkets. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And they send it to me, and I have no reason to go anywhere else. I don't want to go shopping at Walmart. In fact, today I drove by Walmart thinking, oh, I got to buy something. But I'm like, I'm not going to go stand in a line in Walmart to save 50 cents. That's
Right.
not going to happen. I have Amazon Prime. Monopoly.
I mean, I could drop it. I could break it on driving it home. Why would I risk driving it home from the store myself?
No, but waiting in
And
the
then I'm
line,
responsible.
parking. I'm
I
talking about
know.
all of those things that come with
Yeah.
buying something in a store.
Including the responsibility of shipping it to your home. Something could happen. At least this way it comes to your door, you put it on the wall. It's done.
And if it doesn't work out, literally in Amazon, you say, I don't like this, or you just lie and you tell them basically that it's busted somehow. It doesn't even matter. They're like, yeah, sure,
They don't
here's the
care.
label. Send it back.
Side note, I had those gates that I bought, kid gates, and the first ones that I bought, like that button to push was like broken, and it took so much strength to open it. I was like, these
Right,
have to
right.
be broken. So I let them know it was broken, and they're like, would you want us to send you the new ones before even getting the old ones? I'm like, sure. So they literally sent me the other one. I just swapped the door, put the other ones in the box, and then send it back. And then they gave me the refund. Like, they couldn't have made it any easier. And they, the whole return label, they would make you print. Now they don't even do that. Now it's just a barcode. So when you want to return it, you just go to the store with the item. You don't even have to package it. You give it to them. They scan your barcode. It makes the label, and you never see it again. 2 days later, Amazon says, thank you, gives you the refund. Honestly.
Right. Actually, it's sometimes the
Killing
same
it.
day when I give it to UPS, they
Yeah.
scan it like within an hour. it says you've been credited in your account or
Yeah,
whatever.
because they know that it
They
just
know it's been scanned already, so
yeah,
they
they
already know
got it.
you're as a customer.
Yeah.
But basically, I'm pointing out, look, these are monopolies. Like I know we consider monopolies bad, but as investors, they're great. I mean, because I'm not worried about Google going bankrupt. Honestly, I'm not worried about Amazon going bankrupt. I'm not
Well, I
worried
don't think
about
anyone worries about a monopoly on from the investment side.
well, but this we're talking as investors.
On the other side, as an end user, you do worry about a monopoly because there's
Agreed.
no other options. Whenever you don't have options, right? Then you're at the whims of whatever they want, of their terms and conditions, let's say,
Look,
right?
I agree. In terms of the scope of the United States, is it great to have these giant corporations control everything? No. But if the government itself is not changing that, I'm not going to DC to fight
You're not
this.
gonna withhold your dollars in protest?
No, I'm not. I'm just gonna get Amazon Prime and I'm gonna have every Google service known to man. We're on
Right,
YouTube, in fact, and
right.
I pay Google too for storage space and pictures and whatever else. I have lots of little things happening with Google. As you heard with our interview with Dave from Solhome, and we're going to put a card here,
Yeah.
that basically when the installer comes to your house, he's giving you two choices. He's saying, do you want Enphase or do you want SolarEdge? There's no like third choice. And I can see a future 10 years from now where these will be name brand companies like we know about like Tesla with cars right now, right? So at some point, all the money is not going to be made anymore in these companies because we're going to miss like the big run up. Like Google's no longer like the 10x or the 20x. That's done. Like we missed that part. So I'm just getting my 20% compounded. That's why I'm buying it. With these guys, Enphase and SolarEdge, since they control everything, imagine 10 years from now. I think there is a 10x or 20x.
In the making.
Especially, yeah, especially if solar is getting bigger. Anyway, so that's
Yeah,
my
let's
take
get
on these monopolies. I say buy monopolies. That's it.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm fine. I've said what I needed to say.
Okay, so guys, if you like this video, like and subscribe. Obviously, hit the bell. Go to the Patreon, and go to the Discord. That's still free. And $5 to support us. That's it.
$5. Everyone's got that.